They are there to make sure everyone gets their fair chance, make sure everyone can live that American dream. And so that's the conversation my dad had. I had that conversation with my eldest son, who's 23 years old, when he was able to vote. And I look forward to having that conversation with my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old when they are able to vote. And I got to tell you, it's important. Using your vote's important. Young people in the crowd, you want to protest? Protest this guy who thinks he is capable of running this country, and he can't even run a business that has been bankrupt 6 times. You want to protest? You get out there and you protest against this Republican Party that refuses to include everyone, that fights your right to vote, that is out there right now, standing in line, making sure that people can't. This isn't American. This isn't what we do. We're better than this. That's right. They better not come here, huh? That's it. So, I got to tell you, I do have a personal connection to Hillary. It was about 15, 16 years ago when I met Hillary Clinton for the first time. And what really struck me, number one, obviously the intelligence. Obviously, she is warm and friendly. It doesn't come across on the campaign trail too often, but I know someone who is warm and friendly and who cares. And I remember the conversation that we had 15, 16 years ago. And the reason the context in meeting her was that her and President Clinton, that sounds good. President Clinton sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, that sounds great. And they would do a small party in one of my restaurants. And I remember her having a conversation about wanting to know whether or not I purchased food from the upstate farmers, because she really cared about the economy upstate and marrying it to downstate economy, and wanted to make sure that I knew that there were so many people out there up in upstate producing great food, and that we should actually support that. And I was really surprised at how much she knew about the issue. And that was one part of it. The other part, I stepped back. And if you want to know how someone truly is, watch them interact with the people that they work with. You see the warmth. You see the joy that they had celebrating. You see how when she was talking to someone, when she was talking to me, she wasn't looking over my shoulder at the next person in line. She was actually talking to me. And that's the conversation that she's having with every single person out here. This one-on-one conversation about what this country can do when we all come together, when we include everyone. And so I want you to, for a second, just to think about, and this is what I think about. I have to have conversations with my 5-year-old and 7-year-old about, hey, Dad, what's wrong? Why is this guy talking bad about Muslims? Why is this guy talking bad about women? What sexual harassment, what does that even mean? My 5-year-old and 7-year-old who happen to be sort of playing, but I have the TV on watching news when I'm cooking food, when I'm cooking dinner for them. And I have to explain this to them. We shouldn't have to do this. These are our children. They shouldn't grow up with leaders that demean women. They shouldn't grow up with people who go after a Gold Star family, the mother of someone who gave their life for our country, and you're going to speak badly about them. That's not our America. That's not it. So look at these flags here. Look at these flags here. Look at them. Red, white, and blue. So it's not about red and blue Democrats. It's not so much about whether you wear a red tie or a blue tie or a red pantsuit or blue pantsuit. No, it's not about that. Look in between. What do you see between? You see the absence of color in between. That's what you see. That's what holds us together. That's where we need to reside, because that's where our hopes are. That's where our dreams are. That's where we could be a better country. That's where Hillary Clinton resides, right there, knowing that she could tie this country together, knowing that we're better when we actually work together, knowing that we can take care of all the problems in the world when we use our power for good, when we actually come together and solve all of our problems, because we're better than that. We're stronger than that. We are stronger together. And so it is my honor to introduce the next President of the United States, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
It's great to be here at this extraordinary time in our country's history, at this great university, to have a chance on a beautiful day to lift our sights, to think about what we are capable of doing together, the kind of future that we can create if we search for and find common ground. And it is thrilling to have traveled across our country to see the hopefulness, to talk about the positive changes that are occurring, to really see America at its best. And tomorrow, each and every one of you gets to make a decision as to whether or not first you will vote. Because in Pennsylvania, it's all about Election Day. Other places around the country have been voting for weeks. And what you will vote for. I'm here to ask you to vote for yourselves, vote for your families, vote for your futures. Vote on the issues that matter to you because they are on the ballot, not just my name and my opponent's name. I want to thank Tom Colicchio for coming out here. He's in the middle of opening another one of his great restaurants, but he said he's got these two small kids and he just had to come and be part of lifting up this election and creating the kind of commitment that will bring a record-breaking number of Americans to vote. We are on the path to see more Americans vote than we have ever seen in our history. And I am hoping that you won't just come out and vote. Obviously, I hope you vote for me, but I also hope you will send Katie McGinty to the United States Senate. We've got some great elected officials here, and I want to recognize Congressman Mike Doyle, County Executive Rich Fitzgerald, from Pittsburgh, Mayor Bill Peduto. From Braddock, PA, Mayor John Fetterman. But mostly I'm here to say thanks. Thanks for taking time out to think about what the stakes are. I love you all too. Absolutely. So, for those who are still making up your minds or thinking maybe it's not worth voting at all, let me just say the choice in this election could not be clearer. It really is between division or unity, between strong and steady leadership or a loose cannon, between an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the top, and an economy that is set up and run for those at the top. Now, I have spent my public career fighting for kids and families and standing up for our country. And if you give me the privilege of your vote tomorrow, that is what I will do every single day of my presidency. I will get up in the White House and I will think about what I can do that day to knock down barriers, to create opportunities so that you have the chance to fulfill your own dreams. You see, I believe America's best days are still ahead of us. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have to work for it, because we do. That doesn't mean that we can just expect it to happen as kind of a birthright. But I really believe that. I would not have worked for 18 months, traveled across our country, thought as hard as I have about what we need to do and how to do it together, proudly stand up and defend the legacy of President Obama, which has given our country progress in the right direction. If I did not believe with all my heart that we could do this, right? We can do this. We don't have to accept a dark and divisive vision for America. Tomorrow you can vote for a hopeful, inclusive, big-hearted America. And our core values are being tested in this election. And I know that people are frustrated. A lot of people feel left out and left behind. There's fear, even anger in our country. But I've got to say, anger is not a plan, my friends. If we're going to harness our energy and try to overcome our problems, then we got to start talking to each other again. And we have to get good ideas wherever they come from. Last night, I was in Manchester, New Hampshire, and I was with Khizr Khan, whose son, Captain Khan, was killed while serving in Iraq. You might remember him from the Democratic Convention. He was not a man to be on the stage of a political convention, but when he heard my opponent say what he said about Muslims, and he looked at the flag that had been draped on his son's coffin, he felt compelled to speak out. He spoke powerfully about what America means to him and how we have to defend our values and our Constitution. As he said last night, his son, serving in the United States Army with his unit, saw something suspicious, moved toward it to check it out, telling his men to stay behind, and when the car exploded, he lost his life. The Bronze Star and the Purple. But as Mr. Khan said, when you listen to all of the people that my opponent has insulted and denigrated, would there be a place in Donald Trump's America for Captain Khan? The Khan family gives me hope because they truly believe in the values of ours, and they have stood up holding the Constitution as he did at the to say, people around the world, cherish this Constitution, believe in our values, source of hope for billions of people. We will never, ever let that go, and we will someone rip it away in the kind of negative, divisive, hateful campaign that we have seen in this election. Sometimes when I hear my opponents speak, I don't recognize. That doesn't mean we don't have problems and challenges. It doesn't mean that to do more to help our country get better economic opportunities. Of course we do. I believe we can. I love our country, the American people. I know what we are capable of. Throughout our history, generations of Americans have risen together to meet the tests of their time. They defended democracy, built the greatest middle class the world has ever, marched for civil rights, for workers' rights, rights for people with disabilities. We face the test Will we be coming together as a nation, getting further apart? Will we set goals that all of us meet? Will we turn on each other and pit one group of Americans against another? Now, our names will be on the ballot tomorrow, but those values and you care about will be there too. What kind of country do we want? And I particularly think about this for young people. As I look at see so many other Americans who deserve the same opportunities and this many of us were given. We will make sure they are available, because if you think about what it takes to have a thriving America, it comes down to a couple of keys. If you believe that America thrives when the middle class, then you have to vote. We're going to make the biggest investment in good-paying jobs since World War II. Jobs in infrastructure, small business, clean energy, advanced manufacturing. We're going to actually deliver on that, unlike my opponent who makes his products mostly over Chinese steel and aluminum. What's made by American steel workers right here in Pennsylvania. In America, and we're especially going to invest in communities that are left out. Stand up for the rising across America. Economy as I do, then it's a national, because nobody who works full still be in poverty. And we're going to do more to support working families with affordable child pay. We'll pay for work. I got to tell you, this always got the biggest applause ever, because no, it's not fair. But it's also a sister or a daughter working, you don't want her, do you? When I talk about equal pay and all these other families, my opponent says I'm playing the woman's card. Well, you know what I say? Feel me. You know, if you believe all of our kids should have good schools and good teachers, no matter what zip code they you have to vote. If that we can make college for every young insults. And after it was over, he and I got together and we came up with this plan. Public colleges and universities should be tuition free for everyone who makes less than $125,000 a year. And it should be debt free for everyone else. I don't think you should go into this massive debt to get your education. It's good for you. It's good for your families. It's good for our country. And we're going to make it affordable for everyone. And for the millions of Americans already struggling with student debt, we're going to ease that burden. We're going to get those interest rates down. We're going to give you a different way of repaying it as a percentage of your income, not tied to a 6, 8, 10% interest rate. And you're never going to have to pay more than you can afford. You see, I think there are a lot of positive things to get excited about. And I think the agenda we've put forth in this campaign is one that will really give everybody hope. You see, working for children and families has been the cause of my life, but it's never been more important than it is right now. So this has to be our mission together, doing all we can to help every American, especially every young American, and especially every child, to have the chance to live up to your God-given potential. Because when it's all said and done, that's what matters most. Have you helped somebody else? Have you reached out and tried to ease somebody's burden? We do it individually. My mother got through a neglected, abandoned childhood because people showed her kindness. Her own parents didn't want her grandparents didn't want her, but that first grade teacher who saw she had nothing to eat brought extra food every single day to make sure my mother had something to eat. And when she was 14 and had to go out and find a job to support herself and got a job as a maid and a babysitter in somebody's home, she was just relieved that she had a place to live and that she could support herself. But the mother of that home understood my mom wanted to go to high school. So she said, Dorothy, if you get up early and you get your chores done, you can go to high school. You'll have to come right back because we'll need you, but you can do it. Now look, that sounds harsh to our ears, telling a 14-year-old, okay, you can go to high school, but you got to come right back and you have to work on both sides of it. But to my mother, it was a blessing. So when I think about what so many people have gone through to give us the opportunities that we have had, and I'm speaking for myself, my mother gave me the resilience, the grit, the get up and go. She told me everybody gets knocked down. What matters is whether you get back up. And we had a lot of Americans knocked down because of the Great Recession, didn't we? Millions of jobs were lost. Millions of homes were lost. Family wealth was wiped out. Savings accounts, 401ks, everything that people had worked so hard for. Well, we've dug ourselves out of the hole. Now we've got to get up. And we've got to make sure we don't leave anybody behind. I see this man standing here with a sign, Coal Miners for Hillary. And I'll tell you, sir, I know how hard times are. And as I have said, and you can take it to the bank, I will not forget you, and I will do everything I can to help people who have given so much, worked so hard throughout their lives for generations to build this country. We are not going to forget any American. But I can't do any of this without your help tomorrow. This election is going to really set the course of our country. There's no doubt in my mind. Tonight I'll be in Philadelphia with President Obama and Michelle. And I so appreciate how hard they have worked for me, but it's not for me. It's for us. You know, when President Obama came into office, put yourself in his shoes, this young, dynamic, first African American elected to become president of the United States. And what does he find? He finds the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. That's what he finds. Wow, those were hard, hard times. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for making sure we didn't go even deeper into the ditch we were in. But make no mistake, there were reasons we ended up in that ditch. It didn't happen by accident. We had huge tax cuts on the wealthy. The administration in office took their eyes off the financial markets. And we know what happened. They ignored the pressures in the mortgage markets, and we know what happened. Elections have consequences for everything we care about. And that's why we've got to have each and every one of you put down your stake in our future. If the lines are long tomorrow, please wait. In early voting, we have had people waiting in line for 2 and 3 hours. And there have been reporters and others going up and down the line asking people, all kinds of Americans, not one type, all types, why are you here? Because my future depends on it, they say. So tomorrow is the election, but that is just the beginning. We have to heal this country. We have to bring people together, listen and respect each other. Now, I know it's unusual for somebody running for president to say this. I started saying this months ago because I literally was meeting people who were scared by what they were hearing in the election. You know, I've known a lot of the Republicans who've run for president, been elected president in recent history. I didn't agree with them on everything, obviously. We had our differences. But I didn't doubt that they were fit to serve as president. This election's different. This person is temperamentally unqualified, experientially unqualified to be president and commander-in-chief. And so many people know that. So I think we do need some more love and kindness, right? We have got to rise above all of this hate-filled rhetoric, all of these insults and scapegoating and finger-pointing and insulting. I want to be the president for all Americans, not just some. I want to be the president for Democrats, Republicans, and independents. I want to be the president for those who vote for me and those who vote against me. I want to represent everybody. Because I know we have a role to play in building a better future. So it starts tomorrow. If you don't know where to vote, go to iwillvote.com. You can get all the information you need. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We are on track, as I said, to have a huge turnout. But we can only do that if all of you make up your minds. You bring your friends, everybody you know, to make sure your voices are heard. This is a historic election, and we're going to do everything we can, not only to win, but then immediately to get to work. And I especially invite anyone who wants to volunteer for the next 24 hours. Go to HillaryClinton.com, text JOIN, J-O-I-N, to 47246. Stop by one of our offices. We would love to see you. Because when your kids and your grandkids ask you in the future what you did in 2016 when everything was on the line, you'll be able to say you voted for a stronger, fairer, better America where we build bridges, not walls. And where we finally prove and for all that love trumps hate. Thank you.